Okay, we are live with, I was going to say muscleheads, but no, I don't want to insult Monica. Because
it's weird.
I was just saying Monica's going to be the only normal person here. Let me just get that in before we begin. But Monica Knowlton is with us, Dan Thiessen, and Nicholas Alexander Karadza. My younger brother is with us.
Oh, yeah, that's just royalty name. That's why it's good that he says it. Just so, yeah.
Prince Nick.
Royalty name.
Nicholas Alexander, that's as royal as you get, man, you know?
Yeah.
The only thing that would be better if he was like...
Come into the mic, Dan. Come into the mic. Yeah, you guys both need to speak right into the mic. Monica, you as well, yeah.
Yeah, the third. We should. I'm just going to add it on. Oh, yeah, no, is Nicholas the third for you, please?
Do they know your middle names?
Oh,
Daniel Philip Russell?
Yeah.
Philip Russell.
Oh, I thought it was Wrestle. I was like, oh, Wrestle fits in.
Philip Russell, yeah. Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Because where are your parents? Are both parents from Newfoundland or no?
No, my mom's a Newfie.
Okay.
Which is kind of self-explanatory if you ever meet her. But my dad...
Why, you're saying you're
my mom's a Newfie.
And what does that mean, the way you're saying that? Like, I don't know what that means.
Have you met a Newfoundlander?
Well, on construction, I met many Newfies, and I was introduced to all the Newfie jokes on construction sites over the years. So
they're just different. I
like them. I think they're just more direct.
Yeah, direct, definitely direct. Sometimes, my mom doesn't have a filter. But she's also like super kind. It's weird. Like you could be lost in Newfoundland and some random stranger will just pick you up and take you wherever you need to go. And you wouldn't feel like you're going to be killed or something like that, you know? So my mom's definitely Newfie. My dad was born in Mexico in the state of Chihuahua. And he's from a German Mennonite descent, which is super weird.
So born in Mexico, but his parents weren't Mexican.
No, but they were in Mexico for like generations. Yeah. So basically,
I always forget that about you.
Yeah. It's
How
weird.
the heck did they meet?
Really messed
in Canada,
up,
I guess.
In Canada, yeah.
But where? Toronto, I guess?
At school, yeah. In between, where he was raised on a farm in Elmer, Ontario, and she was from the Port.
I feel like if you're from Elmer, you were on a farm.
Yeah, it's only farmland in Elmer. And I forget where I don't know, at college or something like that. Yeah.
And then do you have family in Newfoundland right now?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I have like great aunts and uncles.
Okay.
Actually quite a bit of family. Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand them. I talk on the phone, don't know what they say.
Huh.
So
like you have Viking blood is what you're telling me.
Yeah, probably. But I also have Mexican blood.
Have you done it?
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
I did do the 23andMe. Yeah, I did. I even have Native American blood too, which is on my mom's side. Great grandmother was Native American or something like that, which was like a big controversy at the time because she wasn't supposed to be the white man and the white man was all that
Holy
kind of stuff.
shit,
Yeah.
Really, eh?
I'm just trying to get free taxes, dude. Like,
I was just thinking, what do you get for free?
What percent do you need to get the tax breaks?
It's like 1/16th or something.
So maybe.
Oh, is it?
Oh, is that it? There's actually a rule for that? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I have Native American blood. I have Mexican blood. It's weird. I'm a cook.
I think most of us in Canada are like, Nick and I are Scottish Croatian. Where are you going to get that mix? I think that's...
Yeah, that to me sounds like a recipe for like disaster.
Alcoholism.
Yeah.
It's Braveheart. It's Braveheart mixed with Croatian assassins.
Yeah, exactly.
And my dad's from the part of Croatia that's more like the hotheads, a little bit hard-headed and known for like just kind of tempers a little bit more and stuff like that. So yeah, you mix that with the Scottish blood and it just doesn't end well.
Wait, you have a temper?
I don't have a temper.
So one time,
Nick's
at a CrossFit open workout, Nick gets no rep for a handstand push-up. He punches the wall. I've never seen something like that happen.
No, I didn't get no rep for it. Was legit. I wasn't upset about the no rep.
No,
I was upset that I couldn't do it. And I got no rep like 8 times because I didn't have the ability to put my arms over my head, so I couldn't extend properly on the handstand push-up.
The stupid rules have like where your feet had to cross this certain line.
Yeah, so I was missing about like half an inch.
He was doing handstand push-ups. It just like this
his hand was out of
like
place?
a centimeter too short of what the standard is. But the judge looked like they thought they were going to die.
But I didn't say anything to him.
No, you know why? Because I think somebody came to the office the next day and said, "Did you hear what happened to your brother? He punched a wall." And I don't think I even reacted. And they're like, "No, like that's like a big deal. Like, well, the difference was a cylinder block wall.
It's a cylinder block wall. It wasn't like oh my goodness. It made me laugh so hard.
You have to understand how we grew up. Like our father, I guess what the reason is, our father would get so angry on construction sites if something was built incorrectly. At one hospital they were building out on the east side of the city, he ripped down like a drywall wall and the metal studs with his bare hands. And someone told me it was like the Tasmanian devil, like just like somebody just was like going in circles and he ripped it all down and threw it down. Our father would throw studs, like metal studs, like 8-foot tall metal studs, off the 3rd floor of a condo building under construction if he was upset with something. I remember looking over the edge at one time saying, thank God that bundle of studs landed in a pile of dirt and didn't freaking hit somebody. So like we kind of just grew up with madness around us.
So I'm calm. In my world, I'm calm. Everyone else is like, you're pretty intense. I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm
What
seeming
was
like
your
a very
mom
calm.
like?
Our mom was quite calm.
Yeah, she was into
very
meditation,
sweet lady,
ayahuasca. Like she was with Brazilian shamans before anybody thought that was something cool.
Oh yeah, this was
discuss.
more than 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Probably
she
10,
was like,
12
hey,
years
I'm
ago.
going to meet a shaman in Brazil. Here's roughly where
She
I'm
just
going to be.
flew out to Brazil.
Yeah, by herself.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is before we heard about all this stuff. And so yeah, polar opposite parents.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
They're
I guess-
divorced.
Yeah.
So that,
No, but they live together now.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
figure
that's
that out.
amazing.
So wait, we talked about everyone's background, but your
Yes.
parents, you said Indian
Yeah.
mom.
My
and your
mom is born in Canada, but her parents are from India.
Okay.
And then my dad, born in Canada, his parents also born in Canada, but their parents are English and Irish.
Okay, got it. Yeah, see, that's a very Canadian thing too. It's
I don't know, the English Irish, you got to get worked up sometimes too. I don't know if the Indian maybe calms you down in some ways or shape or form. You got yoga stuff going on,
Well,
but
I've seen it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in
It's
the
buried under layers.
It's in the workouts when I'm winning.
so let's
Very rarely.
Oh, so then it is rare. Yeah, it is rare.
So let's get into this a little bit. I want a bit of
Oh, so
Monica's
funny.
story here, and then we'll get into the gym and talk
Yes,
about that a little bit.
of course.
But so Monica, I think I know part of your story. Like I know you compete, but can you walk us through what happens? Like you were playing hockey, you stop playing hockey, you walk into a gym and you start like
CrossFitting.
doing Olympic CrossFitting. Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you walk us through
He's
a little bit
he's
of-
speaking to her, right?
Yeah,
So
walk,
just
walk
like-
us.
He was looking for a
Thank
word.
you.
I was giving him the word.
Yeah, walk us through your story. What,
Sure, yeah. I stopped playing hockey after high school because McMaster doesn't really have a varsity team. And so I was looking for another competitive setting. So I actually came to Radix when I was about 18, 19, just for the summer because I was going to university at McMaster the next year. So I just came like 2-3 times a week, did the CrossFit workouts. It was so new to me that I was just learning all the movements and it was a lot of fun. Then I went to university for 3 years. And I did CrossFit out there at a different box. And then when I finished university, I came back to Radix and I continued to do CrossFit and I wanted to compete in CrossFit. But then my biggest weakness in CrossFit was my Olympic lifting. And so I found a coach who would coach me Olympic lifting. And then Dan became my coach for Olympic lifting. Then as I started to do well in Olympic lifting,
okay,
we're
so
like,
stop there, and then we'll talk about the starting to do well. I just want.
started to do well. Started to happen after Dan became.
Yeah, Dan. You met Dan. You started to doing well. But how does what's going through your mind at that point? You just enjoyed competitiveness because not many women your age, I think, are walking into a CrossFit gym and then kind of going into doing Olympic lifting in a more serious way. Like what's the draw? Did a friend pull you into this world?
No, I looked it up online. I found it myself.
So it really just was you wanted a competitive
Yeah.
physical outlet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, so then you're doing the CrossFit stuff. Then Dan starts training you in Olympic lifting. That's what
Yeah.
happens?
Yeah.
Okay, and then can you describe the lifts?
someone else first to give her the good foundations, and then that person moved
So
away,
proper foundation
moved
by
away or
someone.
something.
I just assumed someone else gave you the proper foundation.
No, not even close. But she was actually, I was coaching her in CrossFit for CrossFit comps as well during that same time. So she was competing in both for a little while. She did an online qualifier. If you want to check out my YouTube page, you can see the qualifying workouts.
We will pitch your YouTube page. Yeah. So then, Monica, can you describe the lifts that you do for someone who doesn't know these lifts? So what are the lifts that you focus on right now, and what are you up to right now? Because I know there's a competition. You're weighing in or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
on Saturday.
Yeah. So describe the lifts that you do for someone who's not used to this stuff.
So there are 2 lifts that you compete in, snatch and clean and jerk. Snatch is your arms are out wide and you lift the bar directly overhead, whereas the clean and jerk, you clean it. So you lift it to your shoulders and then you jerk it, which is press it overhead. And so, I have a competition coming up on Saturday. So right now my diet's really strict. I'll weigh in and then compete 2 hours later.
Because you have to weigh, like, how many weight classes are there? How does this stuff work?
Yeah, there's a lot of weight classes.
So is it every 5 pounds or something like that?
No, it's so weird.
Like 5 kilos.
5
Yeah.
kilos. Every 5 kilos, there's a
Ish.
weight
Pretty
class.
much.
Yeah.
So you compete in your weight class, and you've done competitions before because in some competition you're a provincial champ or something. I don't even know. I know you're a champion.
She won provincials and nationals.
Provincials and nationals in the clean and jerk
So in
or snatch.
both.
In
because, yeah, Olympic weightlifting is both movements and the total weight lifted between the two movements.
Oh, got it.
So you have to have
Okay.
a snatch weight and then your clean and jerk weight, and then the total lifted is how you are ranked.
Okay.
Or
So
how
for
you get
your
first,
weight
second, third.
class, is there an age category too?
Nope.
Okay. So for your weight class in Ontario, you're the champ right now.
Yep.
And in national champ. Holy shit. Yeah. Congrats. No, that's a really big deal.
It is a big deal, yeah.
And because you've only been lifting in a maybe like in a professional way for how long?
Year and a half.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's not really her. It's a kind of an anomaly as
Yeah.
far as like how long
Maybe
she's
coming up
doing
in
it.
2 years.
Yeah.
How long she's doing
Why
it.
are you
and
saying it's
being-
an anomaly?
Because people who are national champs are born and bred into this. It's a niche sport, right? So in order,
But
it's
even
getting
even in
more-
Canada, like they're born and bred into it.
Yeah,
because
like
there's-
Bodhi Santavi is like our best weightlifter. His dad went to the Olympics. His uncle went to the Olympics. Like if they're competing at the highest level, then they are like their dad or somebody at a young age was coaxing them into something.
Are
big, right?
weightlifters usually like when does a weightlifter hit their peak? Because
So
I'd
it's
imagine it's
different-
not like early 20s. It's probably later,
it's
right?
late 20s.
Yeah.
And it's different for male, female.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What? So for men, it's late 20s, or for females?
Females, it's a bit later.
So it's not late 40s?
No.
Oh, shit. Really? What am I doing?
We've seen
Dude,
what
that's
you
why
do.
there's-
It's not called weightlifting.
That's why there's masters categories now. So they let the old guys, compete amongst the old guys. But I'm a master now. so
Well,
I
it starts at
compete with the old
35,
guys.
right, for
Yeah.
weightlifting. So yeah, you get old quick in weightlifting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, going back to Monica's story with the anomaly thing. So just because of Monica, your hockey background, maybe like you just like what was it that allowed Monica to get to this level so quick from your
You must have been
experience?
strong to begin
I
with.
don't know.
Genetic.
Yeah,
It's
I think
genetics.
I had the upper body strength that a lot of women lack. Maybe from hockey, maybe from doing CrossFit. I don't know, but that really translated well for me. And then I think just body proportions.
Yeah. She's genetically like built to do this. She squats better than any of the guys in the gym.
Yeah. Okay. So
Besides
now
me.
I need to.
I don't know, tell 'em.
I know, dude. Like, have you seen me squat?
Yeah,
I
I saw you
see how
squat
low I
yesterday.
get in my squat. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Now I guess I have to ask, how much can you squat? I don't know.
We haven't tested it.
Yeah, you haven't tested
She's-
one rep
she's-
max. But
so
Dan will
we-
extrapolate it out.
yeah.
He'll have a rough guide.
But yeah, we'll talk in pounds. Like, so Olympic lifting is always measured in kilos.
Okay.
But we'll talk pounds because people understand that better. So she back squats around 340 pounds.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But the point here is not what you can, because like you don't have to share your weight, but for her weight category,
Oh, it's insane.
Because
That's
I'm always
I can share my
you-
weight.
She's
I
a
don't mind.
small human being.
Yeah.
she's
So
not a
okay, so then
big
how much do you
human
weigh?
129 pounds.
Yeah.
Holy
So that's
shit.
that's why it becomes substantially more impressive.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
Because if you weigh 200 pounds and you're back squatting 340,
Yeah.
it's a
No,
lot
it's
different,
different.
right?
I
Yeah.
weigh
Yeah.
200 and I'm not doing it. Yeah, holy shit. Good for you. I guess some people won't care. I just hear that number. I'm thinking, good for you. That takes dedication and work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And to win in national championships after not even like she won nationals and she had been training for between a year and a half, which
So-
is absurd.
And what were your lifts to win nationals?
I snatched 77 kilos. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So
You have to
Done
convert that 2.2,
And then
Okay.
104 was my clean and jerk.
which is 230 pounds.
230 pounds.
Clean
And
and
how
jerk.
much? Sorry, how much did you say you weigh again?
129.
So 129.
Yeah,
So the snatch,
holy
which if
shit.
anyone knows, very technical, very hard. Like
The
if anyone's
hardest
tried to do
Yeah.
it.
lift in
It's-
all of
yeah.
any kind of lifting.
So
Yeah.
to do your body weight and snatch is even that alone
It's
is
really
good,
tough,
right?
yeah.
So if you're weighing at 128, you said, and that was what 170, just over 170 pound snatch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That alone is hard. And then sorry, your in kilos, you said that your clean and jerk was what?
At nationals was 104.
Which is like 230 or 228, something like that.
Yeah. I came up as 23,000. I think. I did that.
Yeah, I want to see the number.
That's right.
Yeah, 220, about 230.
Yeah, but
What's
she,
the
which now she's done 112 kilos.
Wow.
Okay, so
Yeah.
to
So that's
live-
almost double your body weight.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
getting close,
close.
which is like there's a small percentage of human beings ever that clean and jerk double body weight. Like I'm talking ever.
That's 246.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like
You're
right there.
really
That's
close.
that's
Yeah.
impressive, man.
Oh,
Holy crap.
it's insane.
I would love that if I could do if I could clean and jerk
Don't
almost
start-
400,
don't think about it,
400
dude.
pounds.
I think about it all the
I
time.
would have to do
and it drives me
It wouldn't be
crazy.
400. We about 380, about 390, and I would be very happy. I think that's it. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I know.
Holy
I would.
shit, I can barely do my own body weight. Wow.
Yeah.
So, is it just the technical ability then? So now it's not becoming just strength. It's just the technical movement
So she
to get
has
that much weight over her head.
she has the strength, which was, I think, the combination of all her hard work and the genetic abilities that she has. So like her legs are strong. If anybody's seen her squat, you're like, she's meant to squat. She looks like she should squat. Some people are like, that person doesn't look like her.
You have a twin sister, right?
I do.
And then, so and she's into powerlifting.
She is.
Is that
And
why
she's
you got
strong
into this?
too.
Because you wanted to beat her? And,
No,
like
I
you wanted to be
got her
stronger
into
than-
powerlifting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was really skinny growing up, and we're fraternal, so we don't look
Okay.
that similar. She's taller than I am, leaner than I am. And when I got really into CrossFit and fitness, I told her, you need to start squatting, going to the gym. And so she
Hey,
did.
listen to
and
me.
then she did, and she found powerlifting. The McMaster had powerlifting team, so she joined that team. Kind of worked out. I'm an Olympic weightlifter. She's a powerlifter.
They don't have
so
to
we
really
don't,
compete.
we don't
So it's
compete
fraternal.
against each other,
It's
but
fraternal, so maybe it's different. I'm not sure because then the genetics would be more different than if you guys were
we're
identical.
like siblings, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yes.
that's what I was going to ask about her strength
Well,
ability.
that's the thing is like, what does your sister deadlift?
She deadlifts 400 pounds.
Like she's strong
Yeah.
as
And how big is she? Is she as big as you? Like
She's-
you're roughly your size?
smaller than me, like less muscular, but she's about 2 or 3 inches taller.
But
Holy
the
crap,
body
good
weight
But
for her.
she's 3 kilos lighter than me.
and she deadlifts 400 pounds, dude. Like I'm talking,
Yeah.
the genetics there is there.
Wow, yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Wow.
That's interesting.
But my parents are both very unathletic.
Yeah.
If they hear this, they'll be incredibly mad. But they never played sports growing up, so.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's interesting to hear,
Yeah.
right? Because especially with being fraternal too. I was
Yeah.
expecting identical, maybe you get more, but
Yeah.
being fraternal often it's
And what
different.
is- what is
Like
your
I'm way
sister-
stronger than Tom naturally. I'm just
Exactly.
like, you know what I mean? So smarter too, but we
Yeah.
won't get into
Yes, wow.
that.
If I started working out when he started working out, there's no question in my mind.
Yeah, I heard about the days where you guys would bench together.
Oh, me and Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a lot of fun doing
Yeah.
that.
I'm back to bench. My shoulders are healthy now, man.
I know.
I'm back to benching heavy again.
I heard.
It's the first time in probably like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And it's been working up pretty, and it's almost like you didn't stop. I guess it was interesting to me that with the amount of pressing and other movements that you do, you don't really lose that
No.
bench component.
just need,
Very minimal part of it.
4 or 5 weeks of specific training, and next thing you know, you're
Yeah.
kind of where you were. I know muscle memory is cool.
Yeah, I was
Like,
really
if you've done it
surprised by
before, it
that.
doesn't take long to go back.
I just had a flashback to this one story of, I don't want to bring up this person's name because you both know this person, but we were in Miami this one time and he wanted to do bench press because he's going out to the pool.
I already know who this is.
Yeah. And he does, I think he pulled out 80s. Okay. You
Okay.
guys know better than me. And
Yeah.
he pulled out 80s. And, I remember I did it too. I don't bench. And he was shocked. He's like, you don't bench? And I could just do a few or whatever. We go out to the pool later that day and some younger guy in the pool, and this guy that I'm referring to was wearing like beads and bracelets or something, kind of has a look to him. And this younger guy yells over to him while we're walking through this pool and says, hey, something about like the 80s. Okay. And he thought the guy was making fun of him because he was an old guy looking like he was from the 80s in the pool. So he actually got immediately angry. But the guy was saying, hey, nice job with the 80s at the gym. Yeah. He was like kind of congratulating him, right? So we had to like calm him down. We're like, no, dude, he's like congratulating you that you can bench with the 80s on the dumbbells. Anyway, so sorry, I'm way off. Monica, back to you. What is the training schedule to be able to pull this kind of stuff off? Like how many days a week are you going?
Yeah.
How many times a day are you going? How does this look?
Yeah, our normal schedule is twice on Monday, once Tuesday, twice on Wednesday, just active recovery Thursday, lift once on Friday, lift once on Saturday. So a couple double days in there. It will vary based on where I am in the training cycle and how heavy the weights are. When the weights get heavy, then you have to reduce your volume so you don't hurt yourself.
Yep.
And then what sacrifices are you making in your life right now to pull off that kind of schedule?
A ton. I'm 23. I live in
She
New
has no
York,
fun.
and all my
that's
friends
right.
go to ton. And I sacrifice maybe, I don't know, hanging out with them 5 days a week to do my schedule. And then I have to be really specific on the days that I do go out to eat or I'm going out with them late. It's really based on where I am in my training cycle, like how much fun I'm having.
Yeah, I forgot you live in New York. You're only
Yeah.
here right now for these competitions.
Yes, yeah. So I'm going back on Monday.
Okay, got it. Wow. So this is a serious commitment. And then you're eating Are you getting a plan? Dan, do you provide are you
She
good with
has
that on your own,
I
or
am.
do you get?
And
Yeah,
she
you're
has
good.
a nutritionist that she
Yeah.
works with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
She's got a bunch of.
Yeah, can you talk about that?
She works
Sure.
with Dr. Cowan too. Like,
yeah,
Oh, awesome.
I
Yeah.
recently saw Dr. Cowan. Great.
Yeah.
So for my nutrition, I eat pretty much, since I'm not over my weight class, I can eat in a surplus, which is ideal for gaining strength, building muscle. So I eat in a surplus maybe up until 2 weeks before my competition or the week before my competition. Then I'll reduce my calories. I'll cut the fiber 3 days before. And so then you just lose your water weight. And then once I do that, I'll maybe lose 2 pounds. I'll be right under my weight class and I'll weigh in. And
Why? Fiber makes you hold water?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So-
Interesting.
So like fiber, you're cutting out.
Broccoli.
Yeah, vegetables.
Oh,
It's really
vegetables.
counterintuitive
Yeah.
because you're cutting out vegetables, fruits, everything that is technically good for you just for a few days while you lose that water weight.
Yeah.
And then what else are you not eating? Like, are you having to stay away
Cookies.
from sugar? But
Yeah,
you're
I don't
At
eat
your
those
age, I
kind of
just feel like
foods.
you can process so much stuff that you
Yeah.
could almost just eat the cookies. But
Yeah.
you're just staying away from all kind of sugar stuff as well, or no?
Yeah, I'll stay away from, I have to track what calories I'm getting, so I'll only eat foods that I can actually break down the macros. So I'm not going to order out or eat pizza because I can't track that as closely. I'm cooking most of my own food. I'd say when I'm living in New York, when I'm here, I order out maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. And other than that, it's just really specific on what I need to consume and when during the day I need to eat those calories.
Have you always had this discipline?
Yes, I think so.
So just throughout
but
your
just
whole...
in different areas. Yeah.
So because I'm just thinking living in New York and then cooking all your own food and not eating out in New York.
Look, if I was your age living in New York, let me just tell you,
Yikes.
it wouldn't be,
Yikes.
it
Yikes.
wouldn't have ended that way. Let me tell
Yeah.
you. I wouldn't still be there. I might last 2 weeks tops.
And then, so where do you want to take this?
I'm not sure, honestly.
So you're just having fun right now.
I'm just having fun. I do take it seriously, but I'm also doing a master's right now. So I kind of want to pursue both aspects of my life, just so if one of them happens to not work out for me, I have a job or I have an internship I can fall back on. I just don't want to put all my eggs in one basket.
Makes
if that
sense.
makes
And the master's in what field?
Sports management
Yeah, awesome.
at NYU, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's a good place to be in New York. We were talking about it. And
Yeah.
if you're going to be in sports management, to go to NYU would be the place to go to kind of see if you can kind of get some sort of connections that way and see if you can get into that field. I mean, Toronto's probably got a little bit of that, but compared to a place like New
Yeah.
York,
It
it's just
how many
nothing,
sports
right?
teams they have too.
Yeah.
And they just talk about sports so much. When I was telling Dan that when I'm in New York and we're talking in our classes, they never mention Canadian teams ever.
Sure,
It's like
yeah.
we don't even exist.
Yeah, we're
It's
such a
crazy.
tiny
The Raptors
had-
can win the championships. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't,
We
it
had-
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
We had the
If they talk
Raptors the
about
one year.
hockey-
They were like, "Wow, look, all the whole country's behind these people."
Yeah.
So for a few weeks, they talked about the
Yeah.
Raptors, and
That's
that's
Someone
it,
who knows
yeah.
hockey will know a little
Yeah.
bit about the
Yeah.
Toronto Maple Leafs. And
Yeah.
like
But
that.
hockey, even in the States, not that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, compared to
Different-
basketball, right?
Basketball,
Football.
football,
Football.
even baseball.
Yeah,
Baseball's the one
baseball's
thing I can't
huge
get
in the
behind.
I can't get
States.
behind
I'm
that.
surprised how many people even around here, like the Jays games, like how many people follow the Jays like religiously.
I think
I'm like,
we're just
I just not my thing.
We
Yeah.
just deprived of that kind of stuff. People just want something to cheer for.
Dan, you've trained a
Yes.
bunch of people. When you
Yes.
see Monica, stands out for you? We've talked about just genetics, her ability, just natural ability and discipline, obviously.
Yeah.
But anything else come to mind compared to what other people, or just something that stands out?
Yeah, that she's like,
Or even just different?
yeah, she chases like everything. Like her lifting, needs to be perfect all the time. So there's not too many people who go in to every training session being like this. And I'm not talking about like, oh, like one or two of these needs to be perfect today. Every one of those lifts, and if it doesn't feel right, the look that I'll get or the feeling of like her disappointed in how it, and I'm like
The Irish anger comes out.
But and then like from a coach's
That's a
standpoint,
sign of a champion
I
too,
look at the lift and I say, like, okay, like there's this little inch that could have made it feel like the best possible thing, but to her, that's the only thing that matters in that moment is it didn't feel exactly how she wanted to feel. So she's like constantly chasing the perfection of these two lifts, which not a lot of people can do that over and over and over and over
So
again
then,
and still want to show
kind
up.
of like as her one of her coaches and trainers in this world, and specifically around the lifting, then because that's what you're training her on,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
When you see that in her, is that something you have to walk back,
Yeah.
or do you think that that's what's really giving her
No.
her abilities?
It does, as long as it doesn't affect how she feels about herself. So there's your ability to chase perfection and want it so bad, and that fact that you you approach every lift and every training session with perfecting is good. But when you miss a lift or it's not exactly perfect and you start to view yourself as not as good as you are, then we can move in the wrong direction. So it's constantly just putting her energy in the right place and letting her know that what she's doing is really good. And it's so much better than, first of all, anybody else who's been doing it as long as her. And second of all, it's just as good as people at a high international level, which she loses track of that in her mind all the time.
But you have to be careful of that, because if you're seeing that it's better than most of the people you've trained already.
No, I'm talking not even who I've trained. I'm talking about, like, I watch Olympic lifting all the time. So I'm talking about
better
watching
than even
people,
what you've seen.
Yeah, I'm talking about international.
Wow.
I only compare her to people who she should be compared to. I'm not comparing her to like
okay, because that's what I was going to ask. I'm like, is that holding her back?
No,
okay.
I'm comparing her to, like, what is the 59 kilo champ in the US doing? What is the 59 kilo champ in Eastern Europe, in Russia or China? Like, how do they look? What numbers are they hitting? What does their training look like? And that's who I'm comparing her to, because that's what she's capable of doing. But
in Russia, they're on the program, though. I mean, look, I watch Invictus, man. I know how this goes. All right, this is like,
I know it's what also makes it like it's super interesting and also hard to navigate is the fact that she is a natural athlete, and all of the science and all of the literature behind weightlifting is from like the 70s in Bulgaria and Russia, where all the science and everything is done on drugged up athletes. So I can't use that.
Oh, and
so
also men.
And men too.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
that's
not
right.
a
I never
lot.
thought about that. There wouldn't be as many studies and research on women.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, got it.
So I do know, like, you remember when Alexei Tarakti came, who was the gold medalist in the 105 kilo weight class, and he brought his doctor with him, Sergey. And Sergey did his PhD.
Oh, Sergey was his doctor.
Yeah. So Sergey did his PhD in women's weightlifting. So I had the opportunity to sit down with him like a bunch of times and also message them whenever I want. Super nice guys. And just because all his studies were on women's weightlifting.
So what does he say that you should pay attention to with
It's
Monica?
It's different. It's
different
the volume, the intensity, how much of the heavier percentages you do on the body. It's so much different male to female. Like a female athlete will be able to do reps a little bit closer to their 1 rep max than a male. The gap will be a lot bigger. But then how you approach that in training has to change because she's female, right? So it just knowing.
What do they say when you're sharing some of her lifts?
Oh yeah, they're super impressed. Everybody,
because for those people to be
lifts,
but for those people to be super impressed,
Yes.
and I know, Monica, you don't need to hear this from me, obviously, but that is like for me to watch those guys lift.
Yeah.
For anyone listening, you don't understand. Like, how much did he weigh? You said in kilos.
So he weighed 231 pounds,
So 230
which is 105
pounds, but he was
kilos.
mobile like a yoga master.
Oh, for sure.
His
Yeah.
mobility was like he did yoga for his whole life, and he was throwing around
built like a brick,
like a brick.
cylinder
I've never
brick.
seen a human like this.
Like
guy.
I have a big head, and his head was twice the size of mine.
I remember when you brought him to the gym and we had that day training or whatever,
Yeah.
and he would, I was kind of like holding my shoulders in a certain way, and he just laughs. Like he just had that like Russian type of laugh, and he would just laugh and then just kind of like bolt my shoulders back that almost broke my back in half.
Yeah.
And his hands were like bear claws over your shoulders.
Oh, I know.
This
He
guy was a
slapped me.
specimen.
He like when I went to snatch that day with him, I maxed out my snatch, but he slapped my quads to like wake my body up. It jolted my whole body.
Didn't he rub Nick's ears?
He rubbed your ears. He rubbed my ears. It was like
and
some kind of.
and then smacked my ass. And after he did that, I'd failed to lift twice. And after I did that, and everyone's watching, I'm like, oh my
And
God.
if he's watching you,
But I was like, I can't. If I screw this up now, like this is bad.
Yeah.
And I actually thank God I made it.
Yeah.
So
that was your biggest snatch ever, right?
Yeah.
Monica, have you met this guy in person yet?
I haven't. I've just heard these
so the next time,
stories.
I'm sure he does he still do the training?
Yeah, yep. He still does all his seminars. He travels around U.S., Europe, Canada, and they do 2-day seminars.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're able to get some input from them
Yep.
about Monica's programming and that
And
stuff,
not
which
only
helps
them,
you.
I have friends in the U.S. who work with USAW, who work with a lot of CrossFit Games athletes, and also
I was going to say that from the
international
CrossFit
athletes.
community, you might be able to get a little bit of that.
Yeah, well, like my good friend Mike Service, who was on Team USA and competed internationally for the U.S., who's now a coach to both U.S. national champs and CrossFit Games athletes for Olympic weightlifting only. I run everything that we do by him too. So he's just a good friend, and he'll watch her lifts, and he's also amazed by what
And there's
she's
more
accomplished and
resources
stuff
too
like that.
because of CrossFit. I mean, weightlifting's kind of had this kind of renaissance,
Research,
right? So there, like over the last number of years, when I started CrossFit a number of years ago, you couldn't even buy Olympic weightlifting shoes in Canada. I had to get them shipped over from the UK.
Yeah.
From Adidas. Like I'm like, what if they don't fit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
exactly,
it was weird. So, but that's kind of changed as well.
Because you got like it's the same path that she was on. Is like you come into a CrossFit gym and you do these workouts and and then you learn how to clean and jerk and snatch, but it's only part of the process. And then somewhere along the way, you're like, you know what?
This is
breathing
fun.
This hard all the time sucks. And if I just did these 2 lifts and competed this, it's so much more fun, and I get strong, and and then from that in the U.S.
the lifts are fun, especially for the clean and jerk. For someone like me who doesn't have the mobility to just yank a bar off the ground, it's just very satisfying.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not doing anything close to what you're doing, there's just a satisfaction of accomplishing.
Where are you training when you're in New York? At NYU, their gym?
No, couple different gyms. One's a CrossFit gym called Solace in Manhattan. I think you guys have been
Oh
to
yeah,
I don't know
that
if
one.
Yeah.
Were you there with us at that
You guys,
one?
I think maybe I just went to see it. You guys worked out or something.
Yeah,
it was in the basement.
awesome.
It's in the basement. There's like you enter
Yeah.
at street level and then
Yeah.
you go downstairs for
exactly. And then I also train in Brooklyn on Saturdays and a couple days a week at Squats and Science.
It just sounds cool.
Yeah.
Brooklyn at Squats and
Squats and
Science.
Science. Yeah.
Right? So, and then are you training by yourself when you're there?
I go to see people who train there, but I don't plan to train with anyone. I go to do my program, and I just see people who are also lifting.
Yeah,
there.
that's the other discipline that's hard. Like because when it's good that you're seeing people, but to day in and day out, not be in this environment with a coach with other people, it takes even more discipline than in certain circumstances, right?
Yeah, and
Which
when
is tough.
I first moved there in September, so I found it harder going to the gym and not having a coach there, not knowing anyone, but it gets easier. But just going and having the discipline to go and do your program, and it can take like 3 hours or more that you're just doing, I don't know.
Squats on squats.
and
5x5 day at a heavy percentage is not a fun day.
So you're there for a long time, but after you feel great.
Yeah.
But it's 3 hours because you're stretching, you're warming up and stretching, then you're doing the actual weightlifting.
Yeah, and if it's heavy,
you gotta rest.
It's the rest time in between each set.
Like if you did a 5x5 back squat at like 85%, for instance, you got to rest at least 3 minutes between each one of those sets to be able to hit the next 5.
Okay.
Sometimes
So
and for her, she'll rest like 5 minutes or whatever. Just
is there a downside to resting too long? Like if Monica rests?
Just if you start to cool down, she's pretty good with it. I personally stay in the 3.5 to 4 minute range because I don't like the feeling of like I've cooled down my joints, but I'm old and she's young, so.
Okay.
She can rest longer.
For someone listening to this, I'm just thinking someone to listen to
You're
this.
using that as an excuse now.
Yeah, no.
Now you're using it as an
it's good.
excuse.
I'm a master, dude.
As performance drops,
I'm
you're
a
just like,
master.
I'm old.
Listen.
That was my excuse.
Listen to this. So 5 years ago, I snatched with Alexi. Okay, and I snatched 128 kilos at about 100 kilo body weight.
We actually want to talk about Monica's numbers.
Just listen.
This is impressive.
5 years later.
Don't say that.
Yeah, see. 5 years later, after shoulder surgery, and I don't weigh 100 kilos anymore. I weigh like 92 kilos. I snatched 1 kilo less than that. So that's not bad for an old guy, you know?
Not bad.
Yeah, but
Was that when you did
before
Fran
you
right
were in
afterwards?
shape, now you can't even run.
That was the first one.
Now you can't even run around the building.
I know, but
before
it
you were in
doesn't.
shape-
But I have
Good
6
point.
abs, you know.
That's like friends of mine that just have 0% body fat, but they eat like Big Macs and Whoppers all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like, dude,
I have a good diet. My diet's good.
For someone listening to this who's thinking, okay, I could probably squat more than I do, what is like a rep scheme for a recreational person going to the gym twice a week?
And wants to get strong? That's the goal? Or
I guess the goal for a lot of people would just be, to I don't know if they think get strong or just be fit, but sure, get strong.
Yeah, 5x5.
So 5x5.
Yeah, 5 sets of 5. Everything, especially if you're a beginner, should be done on just like a progressive overload, meaning like you start off light and then let your body adapt over weeks of training. So you start off at 5x5. That's something that feels really good. Like you should feel good that first week. You should feel good. You shouldn't get up out of bed the next day and be like, I destroyed myself.
Okay, so if you were to guess, it would be like 50% of what your 1 rep max could do.
Sure,
So if you guessed a number,
matter,
cut it in half and do 5x5 at that number.
Yeah, and then every week add like 5 to 10 pounds over 8 weeks, and trust me, over 8 weeks you're going to be stronger than that 1 rep max.
So every week add 5 to 10 pounds on a 5x5.
Yeah.
Do that over a 12-week cycle.
12 weeks gets a little long.
8 weeks.
Yeah, so somewhere along the way you're going to go 5x5, 4x4, 3x3, and then from there, like, you could do like a 4x2 and then like a test, or you just like as you get stronger and the weights go up, then the volume of lifting needs to go down. You're going to work in a smaller rep range. Like we're talking pure strength. And then you do a test. you'll test, and if you're new, you're going to destroy your old 1 rep max, and then we take that new 1 rep max and we start the cycle over again. You can do that for a long time, honestly. As
when I first started going to the gym, you know, like just because I'm a very impressive athlete, Nick dragged me, and Rachel was doing me through like some analysis. I think it was like the first time, like, what do you call it? Like a baseline or something?
Test,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I had to do deadlifts with her at the end.
Okay.
And I put 25 on the side of each bar. And I started deadlifting this thing. I didn't even know what a deadlift was, okay?
Yeah.
And my back started seizing up. And I told Nick,
with 95 pounds.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And I told Nick, I go, holy shit, my back's also, I can't lift a bar. And Nick leaned over to me and goes, you never, ever tell anyone that. And that was like my second time ever at the gym. Like I had never gone to the gym. And I remember just thinking, holy shit, what goes on in these places?
Well, you had done he had done squats. I don't know, whatever weight, but the first time he did squats and you couldn't walk down the stairs after.
Oh, remember? Yeah. I couldn't even get into my house.
Yeah.
I remember getting home and Carol opened the door and I was at the bottom. We had like 6 steps going up to our front door. I couldn't get up the stairs. I didn't know how I was going to get into the house.
So here's my question. I'm curious what you think's more important if you had to choose one, right? So someone hasn't worked out in a while. They're coming back to the gym. Let's say they're whatever, mid 30s, 40, you know, so they're not like in their 20s. And what is more important to focus on if you had to pick one? Squatting with weight or squatting with depth and getting the actual positioning down and getting your to be able to get into kind of proper positioning?
Second one. Yeah. For longevity and also body health.
So really getting
joint health.
So for anyone listening, getting into a low, deep squat.
Yeah, which is better for your knees, not worse for your knees. For like, let's kill that right away because that was a big misconception for a long time. But yes, full depth, that mobility will then turn into strength. I had an issue with this myself. Like I couldn't squat full depth properly for a long time, but I spent the time working on it. And then that range of motion and that strength that you build through the full range of motion will serve you for the rest of your lifetime.
You get so healthy with the mobility and stuff too. So it's almost
joints.
like, it's weird though, because you're almost doing...
Go backwards first.
Well, you're doing like air squats or you're doing goblet squats with like a 25
pound
kettlebell
is like
or
the
whatever,
perfect way to go because it'll force like an upright posture. It'll force you to turn your core
So
on.
describe a goblet squat.
You just hold a weight like a dumbbell in front of your body, like nice and close to your chest, and then you squat from that position. It just forces a better position than a barbell on the back. A lot of people, you'll see their butt come up first rather than using all their legs to drive. Just like if you watch Nick squat heavy, you'll see what it looks like for your hips to come up first.
Yeah, my butt comes up first. Everyone's like, Tyler's always amazed.
And your butt shouldn't come up first?
No, if you're... So
dude, I do a back extension. I do my...
No, because I'm asking because my butt was coming up first like yesterday or whatever.
If you're a powerlifter doing a low bar back squat, this is a time when it is like okay. But if you're doing like a normal back squat and you're using all of your legs, like quad, hamstring, glutes, then it should come up as a unit. But some people, what will happen is one of those two sides of you is going to be stronger. And then when you hit those kind of end range of weight you can lift for a certain rep scheme or whatever, then you'll default by going into what is stronger.
That's what happens to me.
Yeah.
And when I started squatting,
it's not bad because he squats really well. So the bar path itself for Nick doesn't change very much when he does that, and he's able to use more of his glute hamstring. So it's like it's not going to harm him or anything, but he misses out when he tries to use his back squat strength to front squat. That's where he misses out the most. Yeah. Because then if you on a front squat, if your hips shift up first, that bar is going to go forward.
But I fight it.
Yeah,
I can lean forward and hold a 280-pound bar at my neck still somehow.
This might be obvious to all of you, but why is squatting so important? Like, why do you always default to like I think I've learned from you, like, shit, if you haven't gone to the gym this week, then it's squats.
Yes.
Like that's just in my brain. Yeah. Why is squatting so important?
Because it's, first of all, a natural human movement, but it's going to work the most musculature in your body.
Because it's
you're going to use your whole legs.
So it's the biggest like compound movement. Am I saying that properly?
Yeah,
it's the
exactly
biggest compound movement that we could do. Squat down.
And better than deadlifting.
Why?
Because deadlifting, you're going to mostly default to like a posterior. So the back of your body, your lower back, glutes, hamstring. You're not going to get as much through your quad. Whereas the squat, you're going to use everything to do it.
What about a regular back squat squat versus, you know, that bar that you can stand
like a
in the
trap
middle
bar?
of? Trap bar, and then you can pull that. That's now it's more like a deadlift.
But you're actually right, because it's different. Trap bar is different than conventional deadlift because of where your arms are placed, and you don't have to pull the bar around your knee. You can sit more into a squat and pick it up. I would.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I would do that if you have a problem loading on your spine for some reason,
Okay.
and it causes some kind of injury, something like that, or it's uncomfortable. Then you could go trap bar. But I'd still prefer to squat. Like if you gave me one movement I had to do for the rest of my life.
With someone who's looking like, so a typical young guy trying to build their upper body, like classic, right? Yeah. Are they going to build more upper body strength or even size with squatting?
Yes.
So by building the squat, they're going to proportionally just fill out everywhere.
They still have to lift up their body. Don't get me wrong, but the more musculature you use, the heavier you go, the more compound movements you choose in your workout routine, the more testosterone your body will produce, the more your body will want to grow to handle the extra weight. It's like when you look at it from the most like simple perspective, what we're doing to our body is just like putting damage into our body and forcing our body to react to that to keep us alive. Like it's like the most basic form of like.
Okay, so it's important to squat. Yeah. Now somebody like Monica, is it important for her to do like a salt bike or some metabolic stuff, or not really important at all? Move weight at the highest level and forget about all the metabolic conditioning.
It's good for her health and sometimes for her mental like break.
Blowing off steam. Yeah.
Or even like forget snatch and clean jerk for a little, like after a competition.
Yeah, okay.
And it's good for her heart, but it's not necessary.
But it's not playing a role in the training.
But since CrossFit is what I came from, I've always said that I want to go back to CrossFit. It's what I love doing. It's so much fun. So I have more fun doing CrossFit.
Holy shit! If you go back into CrossFit now with your skill development in the lifting,
I tell her that too.
Yeah, wow.
Well, we did a Metcon.
Let's not talk about the
Metcon
we did last week.
Trust me, I can only imagine how it ended, because I did one with Dan and it didn't end well for him either, and I'm not in your shape, so.
But. Just to have fun, we did a little Metcon.
Yeah.
Well, I was working out next to you on Saturdays when we used to do those nasty workouts on Saturdays, and halfway through the workout or at the end there'd be like 30 cleans or something at the normal weight, which is fairly light, and I normally don't have that much, like I'm not really slow through those, but at the pace she was moving, I'm like, I just look over, I'm like, holy shit, man, this is painful.
Yeah, we did that. This is the fun part about working out with people in competition. We did that workout with the dumbbell snatches to start, remember? Yeah. And we're both like, we're going to break it up like this.
Yeah.
Nice, whatever.
I think you were there, Tom.
Yeah, it was an afternoon.
Remember we did the big
snatches.
chipper a
Oh,
while ago.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, you were done. I wasn't even halfway done. Monica was already done. I think I looked over. You were sitting down. I was still like 3 things on the chipper behind. I was like on the rower or something.
What were you saying? You think you're going to break it up.
We're like, we even talked about breaking it up. We're like, we'll go like 30-20 or something like that. We're 30 in. We both looking at each other, and we're both like, we're not dropping this dumbbell. Like we're doing this like straight through. Yeah. Like it just.
It's fun. It's fun. It is fun. You know what I mean? It is fun. But it's just weird how that much suffering can. Because my wife looks at me, she's like, I don't. And I'll go home and be like, we did a crazy one today, and I'll tell her what we did. And I'm like, I'm destroyed. And she's like, what's wrong with you people? It was like when we did 100 thrusters at 135 the other day. At
135.
Yeah, and then burpees, 5 burpees every minute.
Name workout.
Yeah, it was 5 burpees every minute in between, and it was that was painful.
That was like 20 minutes of.
I walked into the gym that morning because it's early on Saturday, and Tyler's like, "This is what we're doing today." I looked and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it took all of me not to turn around and just walk out.
For Nick to do burpees.
Burpees don't make sense, man. If you lie down, relax for a little bit. You know what I mean? Why are you getting back up again?
We were making a workout the other day, and I was like, "All right, we'll do 6." And you're like, "No, we're not doing burpees." I'm like, "Yes, we're doing burpees."
Okay, so what comes to mind for this? So Dr. Cowan just checked a whole bunch of stuff for me. I don't have the latest.
He just did mine too, actually.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did you get results? You got your results.
She got her results. Yeah.
Right. So what and how do you start? Like, what's your body's response to all the training you're doing?
It's actually really good. He said we're doing something right in terms of my recovery. My DHEA is really high.
She got more testosterone than me, man.
We don't know that yet. Yeah. But my cortisol is too low throughout the day, and we know that because I have a really hard time like getting myself amped up to lift. I'm just not like a super nervous person. So Dan like now slaps me and like we have to try to get my heart rate up in order for me to lift big weights because that's what I need. And that's what I have in competition. Just when we're training, I'm just too relaxed. Yeah.
And to do that like on a weekly, daily basis, like getting yourself up to that. And if your
cortisol's low, it gets harder.
So it starts off low in the morning and it's just going lower all day.
So it's not bad in the morning, but around noon, it's probably where it should be at night. So it's
So it drops off pretty quick.
Yeah.
So he's going to adjust that with you through diet and stuff.
Yeah, we're doing an adrenal supplement. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been on that because I got mine done in November. So I've been on that since I guess mid-December is when I got the results and finally got and started taking it. So it's been about 2.5 months. And I got to tell you, man, in the morning now. So mine was worse in the morning because I kind of beat myself up in the morning, and I just keep going no matter what. But man, the last couple of weeks, like I've been at the gym and people are just like, Tyler's like, what is wrong with you, man? Because I'm just running around, I'm singing, I came in that one day and he's like karate chopping the air. Like, what is happening right now?
Nick's in a good mood.
I was singing while I was lifting. I'm like, I was singing to the songs. I'm like, it's karaoke lifting time.
Yeah. It's like, when I first saw Dr. Cowan, my cortisol was flat. Yeah. When he had the results, he's like, I went to see him in person. He's like, so how are you feeling today? I'm like, oh yeah, pretty good. And he's like, no, you're not. And he showed me the results.
Liar.
And he fixed it up really nice. Yeah. It is a huge change, but it's a long journey to play around with your cortisol.
It is,
so right now he checked my testosterone and DHEA, and I'm in an okay range for, I guess, my age or whatever he says. But the DHEA, I think he wants to try to triple it.
Wow.
So now I guess you can't buy this stuff in Canada.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting DHEA, and I haven't got it yet.
Not getting it now.
Yeah, I guess
Border's going to stop it.
Am I supposed to be saying this stuff? Yeah. But so he's going to play around with that a little bit, and I'm on board. When you hear that for somebody my age, 49, going to start, what do you think?
I say do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to say something.
The DHEA is a precursor to testosterone.
Yeah.
So by increasing the DHEA, you almost have more raw material to build testosterone.
Without going on like you could go to a men's clinic and get your testosterone checked, and if it's low, they'll prescribe you actual testosterone.
So I'm in the proper.
But if you can get it natural,
if you can do it naturally, then it's better. Because if you start going on testosterone, then you're stuck with that for the rest of your life.
That's what he was saying. It's just a harder thing to come off of.
Your body learns that you're supplementing it, so it stops producing it.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So by taking DHEA, you think it's
just teaching your body to produce it itself.
Okay.
And giving it the opportunity to do it.
He also thought with mental cognition, just overall health, that this was going to be a positive thing. Yeah. So,
I don't know if either of you two need more testosterone, but that's a different
Mine's
story.
low. I can't wait. If we fix my cortisol and then we fix my testosterone, I'm going to be through. Mine's lower than yours.
He's going to be punching through brick walls.
Yeah, so because we looked.
He also said the lifting that we're doing at the gym for again someone in their late 40s is good because it's releasing human growth hormone. It's doing all these positive things, which is part of the reason I enjoy going because I think there is like a health benefit.
Oh yeah, by June, man, I'm watching. I'm gonna be on fire.
If we're both on DHEA and testosterone, in fact, no one's gonna want to come to your gym. Who are these two animals?
Well, he thinks my testosterone can go up almost 4 times because I'm in about the 40s, and the typical range for a male is about 30 to 180. I don't know.
So 180 is the goal then. Obviously.
Yeah, but he's like, because I asked him, I'm like, where can we get to? And he's like, he goes, I really think we can get it to like 120, 150. I'm like, really?
180?
And, but I was like, but if we go there, because I'm where I'm at 40, I'm like, that's 3 or 4 times where I'm at. I'm like, dude, I'm in. Like, just
sign me up.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's why I'm getting mine.
Just tell me what I got to do. I'm doing it. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? I won't ask questions. I don't care if it's legal. Just tell me what I got to do.
I care if it's legal.
You do. Yeah.
I just got drug tested.
Did you?
Yesterday, yeah.
So what? Because you have to tell them where. So hold on. Why?
It was crazy. It was my first time being drug tested.
Okay, so what competition are you doing on Saturday?
It's called the Canadian Invitational.
Okay, and why? So and is it truly invitational, or do you just call it that and you have to register? Like, how's it work?
It's an international competition. You have to have a qualifying total that's high enough to be able to compete. So you have to be good enough to compete.
Where is it? Is it online?
Scarborough.
Oh, it's in Scarborough.
Yeah.
And then did you have to register for drug testing because of this competition? Yes. So when did you register for drug testing?
In December.
And then you have to let them know where you're going to be?
Yeah. So
who administers the drug testing? What organization?
Canadian Center for Ethics in Sport.
Okay, so it's not like WADA or USADA. I guess those are US ones.
It's a Canadian version. Yeah.
Okay.
And they just dial you up one day and say
They just show up.
They didn't even call me. Actually, they came to the gym because that's where my whereabouts say I was. But it's my taper week, so I'm not going to be in the gym every day. And I didn't change it because I honestly didn't think they were going to drug test me. and they showed up. I get a call from little Rachel. And she says like, "Oh, there are people here to see you.
You need to go pee."
And I was like, "Oh, like."
Do you really
cool.
call Rachel Little Rachel?
No, we call her Lulu.
It's
okay.
one of the girls.
Okay,
of the
okay.
Yeah. No, this is sort of different Rachel.
Yeah, got it.
So she called me and said, "Oh, there are people here to see you." I'm like, "Great." And she couldn't tell me what they wanted. They're like, she said, "Oh, they're going to your house now." Then I clued in, they're the drug testers.
Oh,
she just wasn't allowed to tell me they were the drug testers.
She's in Ancaster at Physio.
So I was in Ancaster
shit.
at Physio. There's so much traffic on the 403 going back towards Toronto.
Driving like a
And
psychopath.
so I was breaking some laws, but I made it back. I made it back.
Do they give you a certain amount of time, I guess, to get back
I
there?
don't. It's really subjective
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
people.
I think
but
they
if
really want to get you that.
yeah,
day.
if you miss them,
It's a
if you miss them
problem.
twice and they
infraction.
give you an infraction, you could be banned for a year. So they're pretty stringent on their
Wow.
rules.
And
So I
that's
made it back.
And that's an app that you have to be updating or something.
yeah, a website.
Website. Okay.
It's called Whereabouts.
But that sucks. You got to change it all the time. And I guess once you get in the
I didn't even
habit,
think
but
about it.
I wouldn't think about it either.
And like it was my first time being drug tested. I didn't expect them to drug test me. It's a Canadian event. It's in Scarborough.
And it's
yeah,
also,
because it's so local,
Yeah,
it doesn't even
like-
feel like the level
Yeah,
of event that it
exactly.
might
and it's
be. Yeah.
completely random. So
It's
she was just
random,
randomized, like
Yeah.
just so happened to be. There.
And do they tell you the results, or you just only hear if it's something bad?
Yeah, so they send it off to the labs. And
How
then
strict do they watch you?
Oh yeah, she's in the bathroom with me watching pee. She has to see
No
the
way.
pee leave my body.
No.
Really?
Yeah,
So she's
because
like
of
all
all the
bent down
Russians.
stuff next to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Remember
she's not even just
there
making
used-
sure there.
there
She
used
has
to
to
be
watch the pee
crazy.
leave
Yeah.
your body.
Really?
Remember in
Holy shit.
Icarus, the holes in the wall? We can't make sure there's no holes.
Yeah,
in the
that was
wall.
next level, man. That was next level. They won a lot. They won a lot of medals, though.
Yeah, I'm squeezing like a balloon of pee. You know, you have to make sure that it's actually my pee.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just had a flashback to the
Isn't
cut.
that weird? Did you weren't you like, I can't
I'm not. I didn't
Performance
get.
anxiety.
I
I'd
didn't
have
get
him
performance
stage fright? No,
anxiety.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
If some dude was watching me pee, I'd be like, man, you just gotta like
I
close
guess
your
I go
eyes
to
or
the bathroom
something.
enough with my friends.
Yeah.
It worked out for me well.
Holy smokes. I should have flashback to customs. They used to have this plexiglass toilet where the drug smugglers, if you were a swallower, you would go in and you could see, and there was a drawer. So if you were, going number 2, I'm trying to be polite here. Yeah, going number 2, you would open the drawer and these big plastic gloves would go in it. You can go through. So there'd be swallowers swallowing like all kinds of drugs and balloons and stuff like that. Anyway, that was a past life.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing the drug test. We talked about the DHEA.
Yeah.
So then for Monica, for you, can you ramp things up in a drug testing world? Like, are you allowed to naturally ramp up your DHEA?
Of course.
So
She
as
just
long as
can't
it's
be on
natural,
banned substances.
no banned substances.
Do you have to disclose what? So let's say you go on these adrenal things.
Yeah.
Do you have to disclose that somewhere?
No, you only have to disclose prescription medications,
Okay.
and these aren't prescription.
And she can
Okay.
choose.
Isn't
she
there
can
always a
choose
risk?
to put it down though?
Yeah.
Because if there was a contaminant or something like that,
That's why. That's
then
why
they
I'm
can
asking.
see what she's been
So
on.
you can choose to put them down.
Yeah. I know Cowan's pretty good. Like, he doesn't just
Yeah.
tell you what to take. He's like, hey, look, I'm going to get these ones because
'cause
I
you want-
believe in the quality of
And
And
there
there's
are
also
some that are certified.
certifications.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
certified
NSF.
for sport, so they can guarantee that they're not contaminated.
I gotcha.
It's way more expensive because in order to do that, they have to do small batch testing, and then they got to pay all that money, and then you pay that money so they can still make a profit or whatever. So when you get like an NSF certified supplement, it's like twice as expensive.
You have boxers training at your gym too.
Yes,
One who's
John Michael.
Yeah, he's gonna have his first.
Pro fight March 19th.
I saw him this morning. He was doing sprints, man.
Yeah.
He's like, this is going to suck. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. Good luck
Does he
with
get
it.
tested as well, or no?
Yeah, he will end up getting tested, not at the beginning of his career.
Because this is his first
once he
pro
gets
fight coming up,
first
right?
pro
That's
fight.
cool.
Yeah, he was also provincial national boxing champion. Was trying to go to the Olympics, and then because of COVID, they killed the qualifier that he was supposed to go to be able to go, so he didn't end up going to the
That
Olympics.
sucks. Yeah.
So then he retired because amateur boxing is how you go to the Olympics. You can't be professional and go to the Olympics. So he retired from amateur boxing, and now he has his first pro fight, which is gonna be a lot of fun. You're gonna come, right?
That's the plan.
Yeah, I got a ringside table.
Yeah.
We're gonna get crazy.
Yeah, the Rockstar logo's on his shorts. The Rockstar logo's
Yeah.
on his shorts. I don't even know if I told Nick.
Rockstar sponsored him.
It's
Yeah,
funny
he showed
because
me the
Yeah,
shorts.
so
yeah.
I didn't know that because I was thinking about that just the other day. I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I should talk to Tom. We should maybe see if
Yeah,
we
it's
sponsor
already
this
on the
guy.
shorts.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
has
that's
a
cool.
picture.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
he's got Rockstar, he's got Radix on the shorts.
Why don't you sponsor Monica? You don't like her?
Yeah.
No, there was no, as an amateur, I don't know, there was no ask.
Yeah, I don't even think you're allowed to do that.
Yeah. So then at the gym right now,
Yes.
because now we're opening back
We're
up.
open
So
and
what do you have
apparently
going
full
on?
capacity now.
Yeah, full capacity as of now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
March 1st or
March 1st.
now. I don't care.
Vaccine passports are
Am I
gone.
allowed
No, I
to
know
say
we're all
that?
done, but just for anybody listening.
Officially, you're not allowed
Yeah, I
to.
know,
But
right?
if this goes out after March 1st, then
We're good.
yeah.
We're good. Yeah.
Um,
I haven't broke any laws yet, right?
oh gosh,
So-
who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. Can you
I break
give
laws every
maybe
day.
can you give me the security footage to your gym,
Yeah,
and
I
then
can.
I'll
I can.
decide what
Yeah.
laws you've broken, okay? And
What is
who
going
you put
on
in
that-
danger.
The only law I break is how much weight I lift every day.
Oh God!
Holy shit.
Look, man,
Let me
you,
just
you
listen,
talk.
I'm trying to do you a
talk
favor.
bit-
I'm trying
look,
to do you a favor describing Radix here.
no, but
and
hold
you guys
on.
are-
He talks a big game, but then your brother texts me while we have
great.
this, and he goes,
Why
"Hey,
are you
ask
talking to Nate?
ask him why his mom has to come over every time he gets sick because he makes such a big deal about it." So for someone that's so manly and so strong, it sounds
Yeah.
like you curl up into a ball and cry every time you get sick.
Have
so
you never heard of a man flu? Dude? It's like the worst flu you can get.
I know, but man, you have like your wife's there too, but you have to call your mommy to come over and make you
my
dinner.
mom.
I mean-
My mom lives the next street over. Like, what do you want from me? You know, there's nothing like mom's homemade soup when you're sick.
So what's going on at Radix right now? Are there classes?
Yeah, classes.
CrossFit classes?
CrossFit classes every day, multiple times a day.
For what level of person?
Anybody, and it's typically beginner. Like
Okay.
our gym is very much beginner, but like if you're a lady who loves to socialize, 9:30 is your class. If
That's where my wife goes to
That's-
that one.
yeah,
Yeah,
I go
and I
to
laugh
that
at them.
one.
I'm like, "Why are you guys talking so much?"
Yeah.
Like, we're lift. They used at one point they all there were 3 or 4 of them in a circle doing deadlifts, talking to each other.
yeah, while they're deadlifting,
And I'm like, "Guys,
is
what are you
happening?"
doing here?"
Like I literally have to leave the gym. I'm like, I can't. I don't even know what this is.
Okay. So there's a
But
9:30
9:30
class.
but
6
there's a
a.m.
6
class?
a.m.
Is there a-
which is like your typical 6 a.m. crowd where they're a little bit more go-getter. Get up
On
and
schedule
get
too.
at it,
Need to
on
finish it at
schedule,
an exact time.
Get to work. Good group there. And then we have a 5:30 and now a 6:30 opening up because the 5:30 is too busy, and that's the after work crowd. And you can anybody from early 20s up to Mr. Redden is in his late 60s now, and he's still hitting.
And
it hard.
someone who's never come to a CrossFit gym before, how would they be kind of like assimilated into the classes?
Yeah, so everything is a progression.
So do
if
they
you're
get
learning to
one-on-one
squat-
first, or no? Come to a class and you'll get some training just on how to do some of these movements.
You don't have to think. You come in, Tyler's gonna take care of you. He's gonna warm you up. He's gonna give you the basic progression of what you're doing for the strength that day. Same with the gymnastics, which is just we always do some body weight movement stuff, which is good for you, and then some conditioning is where all the fun happens and the music plays and people get excited and you heard a little.
So no
bit.
one has to be worried about getting beat down in a CrossFit class. You can kind of put it.
You
to your
can
own
choose how intense it is, but we will try to make you ease into it. But if you're one of those type A personalities and you want to come and hurt yourself, like not hurt yourself
Yeah.
badly, like make
No,
yourself
but someone who's never
work.
listened.
You'll be humbled quickly.
Yeah,
No one.
I was humbled, and I was fighting at a high level, and I came into CrossFit and I got my butt kicked.
Yeah, no, and I have to thank Rachel because I couldn't do one pull up. I'd never have done deadlifts or
I
squats.
swear the first time I met you, you were trying to do a ring muscle at
yeah,
Element, and I was
yeah.
trying to help you.
Yeah,
and I was
I
thinking, this guy's hopeless, but
Yeah.
I'm going to help him anyway.
That was me. I just don't give up. I just keep going. It took me how many years to get a ring muscle up?
That was so
But you
long
helped me
ago.
get one.
I did, yeah. And that wasn't even the trainer there.
They had the big.
I just saw
Rachel
the
had
look on
big-
your face and decided, like, I need to help this guy.
Yeah. And it's funny because in my mind, I'm like just thinking, I probably do need help, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Just help me. I don't know. Tell me what to do.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong? Give me. But she put that big green band on my foot, tied it to the bar for me to do one pull up. And I remember just when I got my first pull up, I mean, that was like a miracle to me.
But now you crush strict pull-ups. You can do a ton of
But
them.
it's been years.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm 40. It's actually been 10 years
Yeah.
that I've been going to the gym.
That's
It was
amazing.
because of him I was complaining. It was actually Mike who said I was, I won't say what he said, but Mike said I should probably go to the gym. And Nick basically said, I was complaining about energy levels.
Yeah.
This business had been stressing us out a little bit. I was going through, I think, a burnout phase. And Nick said, hey, why don't you just go to the gym?
Yeah, release.
But I had never been to, like, I went to the gym in
For
university.
the record, I said it 10 times over the course of a year.
Yeah,
And then
I'm
finally he's
But
like,
I
okay, I
listened.
guess I'll try it. Yeah, a year later.
If your sales skills are so poor that it takes you a year to convince me to do something smart, then I mean, that's on you, not me, man. But no, I appreciate that. So Rachel, I know, is probably not going to listen to this, but I'm definitely indebted to her forever. She changed my eating with that book, The Primal Blueprint.
Yeah.
So I learned all about paleo and that kind of stuff. So huge thank to her for
But
sure.
now you eat more carbs, right?
Now I eat more carbs, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Carbs are good
feels
for you.
good.
I hate the whole low carb thing.
When I was doing keto,
Drives
so I
me
was
nuts.
pretty strict keto I was even measuring with one of those breath analyzers and for a year and a half. And I was telling Nick, this is another time when Nick was right, and it's rare, so I want to call these out.
Yeah.
I had a sore throat for a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Really?
While you were on keto?
Yeah, because I wasn't
Because
eating
of
enough
that.
carb, but I was going to Radix.
Oh,
and
you're
you
training
were
harder.
telling me I hadn't got a meal plan from you yet, but you were
Yeah.
telling me I think to change my diet, but I wasn't really paying too much attention.
Yeah, you were eating all those dark chocolates. And
I was eating like salad, sardines, and dark chocolate.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that like a lot of fat.
Oh yeah,
Which is
butter.
keto.
I was just
Yeah.
eating butter and coconut
And
oil.
Yeah, you were doing the bulletproof.
Just another thing I was
coffees.
right about. Hey, Tom, you
Yeah.
should probably do some carbs.
But then, no,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
guys got me lifting a little bit of weight at least. So I started realizing, and then doing some of the metabolic conditioning through CrossFit, I needed the carb.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was Dr. Cowan who finally kind of ran a bunch of stuff. He's like, carb is carbohydrate. And it finally just hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need some carb to hydrate. I always have a dry throat.
Yeah.
So I just needed that to be told
Because
to me.
like your body will hold on to water when you eat carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
I was
thing is,
having,
you're just probably so
I was having no,
depleted
and my
all the
body,
time.
I was
No
lean.
electrolytes.
Like
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
really lean.
And that's why people do it. They're trying to get that look or whatever.
Well, the
but you
thing
can
is,
get
it's
that
the-
look and eat a ton of carbs.
Yeah, but it's the
Yeah.
amount, it's the type of carbs
Yeah, of
and the
course.
amount
Yeah.
too. Because if people are having bread with every single meal
Yeah.
or every
But
second day that they're eating pasta for dinner or that type of stuff.
When you work landscaping all day and then
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
different. I
That's
have
what
a
I
friend that
mean,
works
and
road,
different
road-
ages.
Yeah, but I have a
true.
friend that works
And
road construction.
metabolism.
He drinks, I don't know how many beers every night.
Yeah.
You know, he'll drink 5 or 6 beers every single night.
Yeah.
And he eats, like throughout the day, he eats like anything he can find.
Yeah.
He's in the sun all day, working road construction all day.
He's still
The
lean.
amount of energy he burns.
just burning and
But if
burning.
you're like working in like most
Yeah.
people, they're going from home to their car,
Yeah.
driving to an office, sitting in the
Sitting.
office someplace, and doing the same thing back.
and then do an hour.
You don't
working out
need
or
you don't need
something.
3 croissants and 2 half a loaf of
And
bread.
that's the
and
other
all this
thing though
stuff.
that people don't realize is that those things you think are carbs, like bad carbs, are typically not just, they're a half carb, half fat. So like a donut, people would be like, oh, donuts are carbs. Donuts aren't carbs. Donuts are actually
Sugar.
more fat
Oh, fat.
because they're always made with
Garbage
butter or
grease,
whatever. So it's like half carb, half fat, which is like the worst because now you have 2 opposing energy sources fighting your body to give you energy. And one of them is going to be stored as fat and the other one will be used as energy. So if you, like just understanding that like a pure carb is different than like a cookie is not a pure carb. There's always fat.
What's a pure
involved.
carb?
Pure carb is like a fruit would be pure carb. Even
Got it.
bread would be a pure carb too.
What's
Just-
oatmeal?
Oatmeal's pure carb.
Rice.
There's no pure carb.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all those baked goods are filled with fats. So it's like a competing energy sources.
So for Monica's diet plan right
Yes.
now, is it oatmeal rice kind of carb? Like what kind of
Yeah.
carb are you eating right now?
Yeah. For dinner, I eat rice and ground beef. But since I'm a couple days through, like, coming up to my competition, I'll eat a bit less carbs. So I'm eating 180 grams of carbs and 65 grams of fat. And so that's typically more fat and less carbs than I usually do.
What's the fat? What are you
The
eating for
fat? Cheese. The ground beef has fat in it. I have turkey bacon and eggs in the morning. So
you should take omega-3 supplement.
take
Okay.
omega-3.
Why
Got
turkey bacon? Why not just have a good source of bacon?
Just too much fat. There's too
Yeah.
much
It's
fat
too
in
much.
it. And
It's too much.
for the amount of
65 grams is
protein you're
hard.
getting in,
Yeah.
it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah, I could fit in the bacon, normal bacon in the morning, but then that just means I don't eat cheese in my lunch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just balance. Yeah.
Have you ever got? I'm curious. Did Dr. Cowan have you doing a food sensitivity thing for you, or no? You didn't
No
bother doing
food,
that.
just blood
Just the
and the
blood,
saliva. Yeah.
I think she just started with him too.
Yeah.
You're just meeting him now. Maybe
Yeah.
that's gonna.
Well, there's probably no issues either. I mean, it's just been interesting because on the carb side of things, that's where I get reactions
Wheat
to all
or-
sorts of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, brewers, yeast, wheat, all that stuff.
Because
is
it can be like highly inflammatory.
yeah, and that's why I know that stuff is just not for me. But rice and like the other sources and stuff I can handle, right? But
And
that's
they
why pastas and stuff. I love them, but when I
Yeah.
eat
It's
them,
amazing.
they just sit there. Like I just get bloated and they sit there. So I just think
yeah.
about how crappy I'm going to feel after, so I don't bother eating them.
They're getting way better though with these like alternative pastas, like the quinoa ones and stuff like that.
You know, I had a
Like, can
chickpea
get
one
away with
yesterday.
that.
Yeah,
Was it good?
chickpea's good.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. The only difference is you actually, because it's so dense with nutrients, you actually can't eat as much of it because it's much heavier.
It's gonna be so much more fiber too.
Yeah, it
than
was
your
good,
typical-
man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice. Pasta's a nice break. I don't have a problem with wheat though. Like over the summer, I eat a lot of bagels, man. Like a lot of bagels.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
it just,
gross.
I needed
man.
carbs.
Yeah, but if
I
you're
was
working-
depleted all the time.
If you're doing landscaping outside,
Have fun with your bagels.
I had
That's
so many bagels. I couldn't eat enough, and I kept losing weight, and I was trying to gain strength. It was like just muffins and bagels.
yeah. What about are you eating a lot of protein right now?
Yeah, always eating at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight.
1 gram of protein.
So if I weigh 205 pounds, I'll try to eat 205 grams of protein a day.
What is that, like 3 chicken breasts?
More.
4 chicken breasts.
It takes work.
A chicken breast that's in your hand is how
So if
many?
you get, like,
is how many grams of protein?
6 ounces of chicken, which
Okay.
is like I'd say a typical chicken
Yep.
breast size. 35 grams of protein.
Oh, that's only 35 grams of
to
protein.
40. Yeah.
So it's really hard to overdose on protein then.
Yeah, I guarantee you, anybody listening, you don't eat enough protein. I can almost make that.
Yeah,
claim
that
too.
was the biggest
That's the
change I
hardest
made
thing.
when
Really?
I started tracking my diet.
Yeah. And
So-
then the amount
so-
of muscle that she gained when she started eating enough protein too is like. quite a
Wait,
bit
so
different.
meat is a superfood?
Oh,
my
man,
gosh.
are we getting
let's
into a whole
let's
different
not even go into
conversation
that.
here.
But you had to up your protein
Definitely,
and you
yeah.
noticed an increase in muscle gain after
And
that.
strength, yeah.
And strength. Wow.
Yeah.
And so that was just more for you. What types of protein do you prefer? Is it the ground beef? Turkey?
Well, Dr. Cowan actually said I should be eating red meat
For
2
the
or 3
iron.
times a week for the iron. But I prefer chicken.
Okay.
My main source.
Okay. But
how do you know your muscle gain? You've been doing body scans, so you actually know it, or you're just going
She
based
has
off what
done
you-
body scans, but I can show you pictures.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we
Yeah,
have.
little
so you
arms
can
to,
just
like-
see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can visibly see it, but yeah, for sure. Like I have a picture of her on the assault bike when she was CrossFitting versus what her arms look like now.
And
It's
just
night and day
like
difference.
body weight, I think I gained around 10 pounds since I started
Yeah.
lifting.
And it's not fat. Like you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
look
No,
at her
you're
and be
just
like, it's
muscle.
not fat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You don't look like you're
exactly.
carrying a lot of fat.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So all the best on this competition,
Thank
Monica.
you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
really, really impressive. I mean, holy shit. Yeah, good for you. That's big time. I'm just wondering where this is going to go for you, but it sounds like wherever you want to take it. So
Yeah.
it'll be
International
fun. Yeah.
competitions.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The best in the world.
Yeah. Really great. And then Radix, what's the URL?
www.radixperformance.com.
Radixperformance.com.
Yes.
RADIX performance.com.
Yeah.
If you want to check out the schedule. And
Schedule's on there. My email address is
do
on
you
there.
train people who are not local? Like Monica's local right now.
Yeah, so I do online programming as well for people kind of all over the place.
So they can get to you through the website,
Yeah, through the
radixperformance.com.
website. You can call me too, or
Okay.
905-691-7190.
Oh shit, you're
Love
handing
to
out your...
hear your voice.
Holy shit. Okay, and we'll put the URL in
That
the-
seemed authentic since you laughed right after you said it.
We'll
Yeah.
put the
Good
URL
sales,
in
good
the
sales
show
pitch
notes.
there.
The URL will be in the show notes for this episode.
Yeah.
Anything else I missed that you guys wanted to cover or anything? Thanks for doing this. You did not have to
Yeah.
come in and
Thank
share the story.
you.
Yeah, Monica, learning more about your story is amazing. So thanks for sharing that.
Thanks
and I
for
really
having
think,
me.
I really think you can possibly be an inspiration to other
Female
young
athletes, yeah.
young females who could get into this who really aren't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
There's a-
good on you.
I think
That's
there's
amazing.
like a big need for that almost in this kind of world. It's like
Well, even if you don't take it to
females
Monica's
who-
level,
no,
just the
but, like,
health
wanna be
benefits of moving
strong
around
and-
some weight. I think
Yeah.
I think women specifically might be turned off by moving some weight, and I think
or
Oh,
think they're
yeah.
going to become like
Yeah.
some kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I
or
have
something.
friends who are don't like the idea of having big muscles, but you can't go into a gym and just lift weights and get huge. You know what I
No.
mean?
No,
if
like,
you're a
trust
woman
me.
and you're not
Look what
trying
it's
to-
or even
look
a
what it's
guy.
taken you, how much
Yeah,
effort
this
to get
is-
muscle.
takes-
Like,
it takes
you know.
time and
and,
it
um,
takes effort.
It's not like she looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, even guys, like if I could bottle that muscle for people, I'd make so much money. man.
My wife never wanted to lift weights, right?
Yeah.
She's going, but I forget what benchmarks it was. Maybe it was like 100-pound squat or a deadlift or whatever. But when she kind of crossed those things, she was so happy and
Yeah.
proud of herself
Yeah.
for doing it. I'm like, I told you, lifting weights the best. Like
That's
it's the
the-
best. Like do it.
That's the thing I would say is the biggest benefit to most recreational people going to a CrossFit class. I know for myself, just the confidence that I gained in myself and the ability to like meet a goal, like do a pull-up, get a bar muscle up, do a deadlift that's more than 95 pounds, right? Like that time that you had me kind of set my own personal deadlift record and then
Yes.
run right after. Like these are kinds of things that you just get confidence in life from.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
for
the
sure.
personal satisfaction that you miss, like just from doing anything else.
Yeah, and it's all
It's
your
so
own. It's
rewarding.
competition with
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
or like if like Nick does something and then you add 5 pounds and then you do it. It's one
Yeah,
of my
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
things to
between
do.
you
I was
guys-
just going to
and
say
listen-
what Tom was doing after the deadlifts probably wasn't considered running.
yeah. I'm not a natural runner. There's no.
But your son is, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Aiden can
Carol
run
has
that.
long legs.
He's got
Carol
those
has-
limbs. Yeah,
yeah.
he moves.
Carol has long legs. When he runs, he runs. Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen him run around.
And because of
Great.
soccer, he can just keep going. I don't know anymore. I guess he hasn't played soccer
I
as
feel
much.
like he
but-
knows he's lost that a little bit, and I think it's frustrating him.
I'm sure
You know,
it
when
would
you
be.
you
You used to
know
run
that.
like a
Yeah,
wing.
yeah, yeah.
Good. I'm going to race him up the hill in Croatia again now. Finally.
But you know, so one last person to shout out. Tyler is the best trainer
Yeah.
in the
Ever.
world. Tyler, if you are
Ever.
listening to this and you want to come somewhere at the Radix, you will meet Tyler, who is the best CrossFit trainer and just overall trainer
Or
you could ever
human
meet.
being.
Human, yeah.
Human being,
Yeah.
the most positive.
Cheerleader.
Yeah. He is the best.
Loudest
he really
person you
is.
ever meet.
Yeah, sings
Most
your
But, like-
name when you come into
obnoxious.
the gym and when you leave.
And not loud in like an obnoxious
No.
weird
No.
way. It's like the
Encouragement.
best way ever.
Yeah.
Like the most genuine human
Yeah.
being I've ever met. in
Yeah,
my
the
life.
best trainer. So Radix has one of the best trainers
With
that
the
you could
best
ever-
mobility.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the weakest squat.
Oh, we will end off on that note. Thanks to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. You can find every new episode of the Your Life, Your Term show on all the major streaming platforms. So Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. And if you'd like to get free copies of some of the books that we've put together, like these right here, or some of the reports that we've put together, like these right here, you can find all of those at www.rockstarinnercircle.com. That's www.rockstarinnercircle.com. That's it for now. Until next time, your life, your terms.